You hear it in corporate boardrooms and on cable news. The phrase "drinking the Kool-Aid" has become a casual shorthand for foolish, unquestioning allegiance to a brand or a political leader. The expression draws its weight from a real event, the death of more than 900 people in a remote Guyanese jungle in November 1978. The early media coverage centered on the staggering body count and the strange, isolated nature of the People's Temple commune. These headlines framed the tragedy for a global audience that was still trying to understand what had occurred. The specific details documented on site rarely matched the pop culture shorthand. Investigators found rows of bodies with needle marks in their backs, locations impossible for a person to reach alone, and confirmed the drink used was actually a knockoff brand called Flavor Aid. Jonestown functioned as a massive, lethal hostage situation. The deaths were the final act of a years-long campaign of psychological and physical confinement, resulting in one of the largest mass murders in modern history. In the early 1970s, the People's Temple operated as a highly visible, integrated movement in California. It attracted members by championing racial justice and providing social services to the poor and elderly. Jones drew in nurses, teachers, and civil rights activists. These were people who believed the temple offered a concrete blueprint for a more equitable society, and they committed their lives to that vision. Jones followed a pattern of coercive control. He built trust, demanding followers cut family ties and surrender finances. In the jungle, he seized total control of information, censoring mail and claiming a fascist U.S. regime was sending death squads. By the time the followers realized the utopia was a prison, they were thousands of miles from home, their passports were confiscated, and their sense of reality was entirely dependent on Jones. Life in the compound was a cycle of forced labor, exhaustion, and constant surveillance. Armed guards patrolled the perimeter, and Jones's voice broadcasted over the camp's loudspeakers 24 hours a day. During rituals known as White Nights, Jones forced the congregation to drink liquid he claimed was lethal poison. He used these events to observe who would hesitate and who would obey, refining his control through repeated simulations of death. In 1978, Congressman Leo Ryan traveled to Guyana with a group of concerned family members and journalists to investigate reports that residents were being held against their will. The performance of a happy community shattered when residents secretly passed notes to the visiting reporters, begging the congressman to help them escape. The sudden presence of an escape route was a direct threat to the isolation Jones required. When 15 people attempted to leave with Ryan, Jones ordered his security detail to stop them at any cost. As the defectors boarded their planes at the nearby Port Kaituma airstrip, Temple gunmen opened fire from a tractor-trailer. They killed Congressman Ryan and 4 others before the aircraft could depart. Back at the compound, Jones informed the congregation that the congressman was dead. He insisted that the U.S. military would respond by descending on the camp to torture the survivors, leaving them with no choice but to die. Audio recordings from that afternoon reveal significant resistance. A follower named Christine Miller can be heard arguing with Jones for nearly 10 minutes, pointing out that life in any condition was better than the alternative he was proposing. Jones silenced the dissenters by poisoning the children first. As parents watched their infants die, the armed guards surrounding the pavilion ensured that no one could flee. Many who did not drink willingly were forcibly injected or shot. The presence of armed enforcers and the evidence of forced injections reveal a slaughter, not a choice. Jones did not lead a suicide. He executed a captive population. The final tally was 918 dead. More than 300 of the victims were children under the age of 18. In the years that followed, the label cult member became a shield for the public. By focusing on the supposed insanity of the victims, society avoided examining the specific tools of isolation and fear used to capture them. Coercive control does not rely on the low intelligence of its victims. It relies on the weaponization of their hope and the systematic removal of their ability to communicate with the outside world. A hand-painted sign hung directly over the pavilion as the massacre took place. It served as a haunting reminder of the history being made. Reframing Jonestown means moving past the casual punchlines. The tragedy stands as a permanent mandate to question any leader who demands the total surrender of independent thought as a condition of belonging.